Hello there, guys, and welcome back to my channel for what was supposed to be nothing more than a simple player live reaction and player ratings live stream following Chelsea against Norwich, or Norwich against Chelsea, I should say. Instead, even though we've already done a stream about it, obviously with two different guests, but now we have kind of the usual suspects involved to chat about what's been going on today in the morning or midday or whatever. We'll discuss that. We'll discuss the game. We'll discuss everything. There's a lot to get through. We will start with the non-game topic because certainly the most, interesting, important. I don't really know. Like the game for me actually today was less of a bother, or not less of a bother, but I could focus on the game and enjoy the game more so than I could Luton last week when obviously we had in the day leading up to the game. The official information that Roman Abramovich was planning to sell the club. Now, whether he was planning that or not has now been made completely irrelevant because UK government has decided that they will sanction all assets in the UK owned by Roman Abramovich, which of course to this day still includes Chelsea Football Club. Now, what that means, where that leads to, we'll discuss in a minute. But big shout out to all three of my guests. Their links are all down in the description. You know what, Pice? I'll start with you. Thank you for coming, as always, of course. How did you take the news when it first broke? How did you take it, and how do you feel about it now, I suppose?
Yeah, I was a bit surprised that it did come before the deadline. I believe that Roman Abramovich was going to get sanctioned at some point. Mm-hmm. The Foreign Secretary said, I think about a week ago, that, there was more oligarchs to come and that they're constantly working on cases, building up cases. And I mean, Abramovich is like, they've been talking about him in government all the time. So yeah, I thought it would come, but I thought he'd at least be able to get to the May the 15th deadline, because I thought with that deadline, I thought that will be, that's been set for
March
a reason.
The 15th?
Yeah, mate, not May, okay. March the 15th. Yeah, March the 15th deadline. I thought we'd at least be able to get to that, but no, I was a bit shocked when I saw the news. My first reaction was just like, oh shit, like that, this is bad. And obviously, like some of the stuff that's happened, like the finer details, like the clubs all shutting down and employees not being able to work, and Pat Nevin said that some of them have already been started to be sort of laid off and things like that. So it's not good. But hopefully over the next few days, Chelsea will speak to the government and hopefully we'll be able to get a sale going again. That's the most important thing now, is that we sell the club. I don't want Abramovich to get into a really long legal dispute and then, potentially not have an owner by the summer. Like it's vitally important as well for the manager, for the players and for the fans.
I hear you. I mean, it's just a tough one to take. Obviously, just to give it a little bit more detail, what sanctioning Roman Abramovich in this sense means to Chelsea is that essentially we would be completely a frozen asset. But because obviously we're a Premier League club, certain allowances were made to us by giving us certain licenses, which allows us to still go about our daily or our day-to-day business, as in competing and playing in games, training, paying staff, paying players, paying whatever is necessary, paying for catering, and so on. There was the number thrown around that we only allowed to spend like £20,000 for like travel, which especially in Europe might be a bit difficult. But also, we're not at this moment in time officially not allowed to sign players, sell players, renew contracts. We're not allowed to negotiate new sponsorship deals either. Not that that's necessarily a thing at the moment, but you never know with what 3 are doing. Maybe we'll need that as well soon. And actually, officially, we are also currently not allowed to be sold. There is obviously stipulations in that. If you look into it in more detail, the UK government are open for the club to be sold, but there needs another special certain license needs to be granted for that to happen, but they are willing to do that. But only under the circumstances that none of the proceeds go to Mr. Roman Abramovich, and it is overseen or conducted, shall we say, by the UK government, the whole sale. What exactly that means in terms of, can they just pick and choose who they want to be selling to or not? Can they pick and choose how much it can be sold for or not? That I don't know. And if they can't just pick and choose a price, does the whole club need to be valuated by a company that does that again? Because obviously you can't go by the valuation of a year ago, because things are very different now. How long will that take? Though there's just many open questions. I tweeted it earlier, and Con also retweeted it, so I'll go with that to you, Con. There is a saying in the German language where it's basically nothing's eaten as hot as it's cooked. What you're trying to say by that is things might sound bad at some point, but in the end, they never turn out quite as bad as everyone initially fears. And that's kind of my perspective on the situation at the moment. To me, it's like, yeah, we'll probably be granted out. You actually need more than 20,000 to travel to games. Okay, you can have 50 grand or whatever. And, you know, at some point in the next few weeks, hopefully sooner rather than later, the club probably will be sold. Whether that's going to be a good or bad own is a different discussion. But will be sold, and then all these sanctions will essentially be lifted. But we just need to get there. Like, obviously, you can look at it in a really bad way. You can say we're ruined. And, you know, you can be as negative as CFC Daily was saying, oh, Abramovich might take us down with him. I very much doubt that. But that's my perspective. Like, let's not look at things too negatively straight away because, I mean, look at the last 2 weeks. We've taken everything as negative. And in the end, it's always like, oh, you know, that's why it's not so bad. And that's why it's not so bad. And do you know what I mean? But, Con, can you clutch on that kind of straw of hope? Or is it more negativity in your head about this whole situation today?
I'm a bit hopeful, bro, but I'm really ticked off. When the whole pandemic happened, Chelsea didn't furlough any sort of staff. We paid them in full. This happens today, and the staff already been let go. What's that about? Well, why are Chelsea Football Club being punished for Roman Abramovich? I don't care if he owns us. Why are people being laid off of their jobs? Why is it when I go onto my club's website, it says due to government sanctions, we're not allowed to operate right now? Why can't I buy a Chelsea shirt? Why can't I buy a ticket after Brentford? What's that about? I'm sorry, Boris Johnson, what you doing? I read the sanctions of Roman Abramovich as well. Wild claims, bro. They won't be able to prove some of the things they said about Roman in them sanction list, bro. Crazy what they're accusing him of. Don't get me wrong. I'm not here to defend Roman. I'm here to defend Chelsea Football Club. I don't give a crap about Roman Abramovich, to be honest. I care about Chelsea. But the things they accuse them of simply won't be able to prove it. And you're going to punish the fans. You're punishing the players, the manager, everybody who works at Chelsea Football Club. Absolute joke. And then we have to go through them if we want to sell. We have to let them decide who buys us. Who do you think you are? Boris Johnson, mate, before this Ukrainian crisis happened, everybody in Parliament was putting pressure on you to resign. And now it's you and your little gang of croonies are going to pick who's going to be Chelsea's next owners. Are you having a laugh? Like, bro, I am seriously ticked off. I don't think it's all doom and gloom. I don't think we're going to turn into a complete mess. I don't think things are going to be great either, but I don't think we're going to be a complete mess. But I'm seriously ticked off, bro. Because I just can't believe it. I can't believe what they've done to our football club. Us fans should be disgusted. You know what? Bring back Super League. Bring back Super League. I'll put my club in there. Done. Bro, the UK government, if anyone don't know, the bunch of crooks, man.
Like, I don't even want to know where the 2+ billion are going to go when it goes to them first. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't even want to think about it, especially considering Roman was going to give them to Ukraine or to victims of the war in Ukraine. But obviously, Roman also knew what was coming and was probably trying to put off sanctions by announcing that. So who knows how true it was, right? Again, a bit like Con said, I'm not here to defend Roman Abramovich. That's not the point. The reason why I'm not quite as ticked off about the things that Con has said is because they are things that, like the bigger budget for away travels, I'm pretty confident that very soon we'll be allowed to sell tickets again, potentially even sell merchandise, but definitely sell tickets. We just have to make sure and somehow prove that though the revenue of that isn't going to go to Roman Abramovich. I think we'll be granted that. Maybe I'm jumping to conclusions and maybe I'm too hopeful, potentially, but I think we're going to, in the end, be able to sell tickets.
They have to, bro, because with prize money, I saw a Pies tweet earlier, and big up Pies, everyone listening. This guy, when it comes to Chelsea-related info on Twitter, he smashes it. I don't even go on my PL. I just go on this guy's account and just scroll up and just read everything. So big up to Pies for that.
Cheers,
but one of the tweets he mentioned was that they can freeze prize money. So why can't they do that with tickets? How dare you say to get to the members of this football club that you can't go? How dare you? You put all these guys' mental health through hell when you locked us down how many times, Boris? And you're going to not allow them to go to their football game because of something that's happening in Ukraine. That's got nothing to do with us football fans going to a football game. If you can freeze our prize money when we receive it and you can still allow us to compete because you don't want it to ruin anyone else's money, then you can let us fans still go. How dare you do that? How dare you?
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. And unfortunately, one other thing that has hit us, which it wasn't actually directly affected by the sanctions itself, but more like about what the sanctions meant to the world in terms of public opinion, is maybe the right word. Our shirt sponsor, 3UK, the telecom company, have asked Chelsea to suspend the sponsorship deal until further notice. When that came out, 2 hours before the game-ish, we were all thinking, all right, what's happening? Everyone was coming out with the hilarious jokes that this Kickman is now running the Sports Direct line by Blue Football Kids. But that didn't end up happening. We just played in a normal shirt, which I found a bit weird. If you're going to announce, you're going to put, suspend the ownership, but then we just, the sponsorship, sorry. Well, then we just play with the logo anyway. What was the whole point? But anyway, just, again, everything, nothing's cooked as hot as it's, nothing's eaten as hot as it's cooked. Sorry, it's just the same thing again. Oh, 3 is gone. Oh, my days. We'll play blue shirts. And we'll play the same shirts. Let's see what happens Sunday, obviously, against Newcastle, but that's what happened today. Clutch, obviously, respond to all of the smaller questions that I asked to Pies and Con already. Big up to you for coming on as well. But I've seen a lot of Chelsea fans kind of lose their shit a little bit at 3, in the sense of, don't come back after and stuff. Personally, I'm not they are sponsors. They don't owe us anything in terms of loyalty. They're looking out for their own interests, and they don't want to be associated with bad PRs. So they're suspended for a couple of weeks, and then they'll be back, and everything will be fine. So I'm not. I understand it. If anything, I'm surprised that not all our sponsors have done it. Obviously, Hyundai, as far as I'm aware, have also said they're reviewing the situation. But yeah, personally, I'd be like, okay, calm down, everyone. But Clutch, do you potentially disagree? Do you think it's one of those where you're like F3? That's funny.
Yeah, for sure. If you're not with us in the bright times, don't be with, or if you're not with us in the dark times, don't try to come back for the bright times. Don't tell us you're going to suspend it. If you're going to get rid of us, just get rid of us. Go. I don't care. We will get somebody else. The 3 looks stupid anyway. I don't even care. I'm not happy. I get it from a PR standpoint. This is going to be bad. But what does Chelsea have anything to do with what's going on other than we have a Russian owner? I'm sorry. Yes, that sucks. There's a lot of things going on. And it's we've tried to keep this not political, and we're going to keep doing it that way, but they're making it political. And why does politics need to be involved in this sport? Why? Because of something that you think is going to end up eventually causing problems for somebody in a distant land, when he could care less about Chelsea? The people who care about Chelsea are the only ones going to get hurt. So why are we doing this now? And I get it. Yes, it's about causing as much pain as you can. It doesn't matter. If you're not going to be here in the dark times, 3 can go away. I don't care. I will go get somebody else again. There's many sponsors. Chelsea's a massive club. They will find somebody. But why are you trying to drag the name through the mud as much as you can when you're leaving? Why is that something that's going to happen? And I cannot imagine.
Have I missed something that 3 said?
No, they're not. They're not saying anything bad, but just sponsorships leaving are the biggest sign of people trying to jump ship. And I don't like that, especially when everybody should understand Chelsea have nothing to do with anything. They're a football club, and that's all they are. They're not funneling money anywhere. It's nothing like that's happening. So stop punishing the fans, like Khan said, for things that are happening somewhere else. Fans aren't going to be able to go watch the games anymore. And we come on here and we talk about emotions, and when we do player ratings, we're very emotional about it because people love this club. And now they're not going to be able to experience it in the way they want. They're not going to be able to go to games. Potential layoffs are going to come from the Chelsea standpoint for people are going to lose their jobs over this. How's it fair to any one of those individuals who have to do that? It's not. So for me, it's also stupid, and because I woke up probably 7 hours after all this news came out, because obviously I'm over here, and go ahead.
So I just want to add to the point of Joe that he said about the 3 jumping ship. He's right, and just this negative name was going towards Chelsea and its fans. I've seen journalists call us basically supporters of Putin. What are you going on about? We're football fans, man. Just because 50 away fans shouting Roman Abramovich, it makes all of us supporters of Putin. What's going on with that? And 3, I expected a bit more because it's not the club that's done something mad bad. It's just the owner. And the sanctions of things that they can't even prove. Like, what is that? It's like putting me in prison for saying, "Oh, you did that," but where's the proof I didn't do it? You mean the world don't work like that? But when you're in a powerful position to work like that, of course you can just bend the rules whenever you want, man. I'm so annoyed.
By the way, good point that you bring it up again, Con, because I forgot to react to it when you said it initially. Because Roman Abramovich is now caught in a sort of difficult position where he probably doesn't want to just let that be done with him, and he probably wants to fight because, like you said, those claims. I said that in the stream that we did in the afternoon already, and I was like, I've read a lot about Roman Abramovich in the situation over the past 2 weeks, and none, if anything, have I been able to find to be proven of any of the things that the UK government released in their statement about why they're sanctioning Abramovich today. Now, if that is the case, and they're saying not true or impossible to prove, and Roman wants to make a point of that, he will go to court. But while he's going to court, because then he can't sell it, because I presume the UK government, who have to allow us to be sold, probably won't allow us to be sold while Abramovich is taking them to court. Meaning Abramovich has to be the bigger man to kind of...
And Laurenz, if he does take him to court...
To some extent, falsely accusing him and just let it go. And that's going to be the slightly risky thing where I'm like, hopefully he does that.
And bro, if he does take him to court, who pays for it? Oh, taxpayers' money.
Yeah, of course, fact.
Joke, innit? Joke.
I mean, not my taxpayers' money, but yeah. No, I see. Like, honestly, it's true. It's facts. Also, big shout out to Jester who sent the super chat. Appreciate it. And big up, Pice. I will now think of you when I watch the apple pie scene in American Pie. Not how where's that come from? As Pie made a reference, Pie's made a reference that I didn't get. But anyway, just get it, just banner. Make sure you keep receipts for the haters, definitely. And big shout out to Pice. The only reason I don't have notifications on for him is because he once tweeted the same thing 3 times. And I was like, bro, I have enough notifications already in a day. But maybe he'll stop doing that now. And then you should all turn your notifications on and not just follow him. Pice, let me go back to you. After everything we've discussed, now we've kind of explained everything in more detail. What do you think happens next? And also not just what do you think happens next, but also what would you like to see happen next, I guess?
What I think happens next is that probably it gets sold fairly quickly. I think Abramovich has the best interests of Chelsea in his heart. I think that basically he'll sell the club. It will be kind of fast forwarded because I think it's in the best interest of Chelsea, in the best interest of him. And then I think maybe he'll go quiet. Everything will go quiet around him for a little while, and then all of a sudden, I reckon we'll get something in like a couple of months' time, or later down the line where he goes and takes them to court or something, or he does something. Because I know like the type of guy Abramovich is and what we hear about, and the very little we do. Like I'm pretty sure someone said to me he's won every single court case he's ever been to, which is just absolutely mental. And he's been involved in. So again, like just a few months ago, he sued a book for basically claiming that he was involved with Putin. And like as Con said, like they've listed these whole list of accusations, such as like being involved in the disruption of steel to basically make the Russian tanks. So it's crazy claims. Like I don't know. Like I don't know how they plan to prove this. It's going to be very interesting. I think it's going to be a long legal battle, but I just hope he sells Chelsea first so we can concentrate on our thing, because we need sustainability and we need structure and to be able to get on without all this mess around the club and constant what's going to happen and disruption and everything. So yeah, that's what I think will happen and what I hope happens, I guess.
I guess so. I appreciate your super chat very much, Lurifix, because of some words and topics you use. I'm not. Well, does YouTube care? Probably not. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just informational. So I appreciate your donation, saying the best part of this is that they let Israel murder Palestinians for 60 years without any sanctions to them, just Western justice. Yeah, and also the fact that I mean, Saudi Arabia have thrown more bombs into Yemen since the start of the war between Russia and Ukraine than Russia have basically shot into Ukraine. But no one gives a shit about what's happening in Yemen. Like Lurifix says, just Western justice. Is it to some extent, understandable is maybe the wrong word, but in terms of everything that's closer to you, people care more about. That's wrong, but unfortunately, that's how shit works. It's just unfortunately what happens. But like you say, if they're going to make an example out of us, there better be examples made out of Man City and Newcastle as well. Because do I think they're overstepping in terms of the sanctions for Abramovich? Potentially, because things can't be proven. If you're Russian, like say you're American and you just own a steel factory, and then the government buys them from you for good money, and whatever they're then used for, is that your problem? I don't know if it is. I mean,
And Norwich, there's something else that really got me angry as well. When I saw that Marina's unlikely to stay at Chelsea because any new owners will be wary of her past employment by Abramovich or something along those lines. And that got me really annoyed. Because how is Marina guilty just by working for Abramovich? Like, what sort of planet are we living on? Like, so she's gonna, like, if she wants to leave, or they just don't see Marina in their vision, whatever, fairs. But if she has to leave because of that reason, because, the links to Abramovich, then that's disgusting. From a human point of view, that's disgusting.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. It's just, I don't think, like, Chelsea fans shouldn't be affected. I also personally don't think Russian individuals should be affected, because clearly whether Netflix bloody turn off their service in Russia is going to stop Putin from doing anything. But hey, the world's gone mad. The world's gone mad. Well, I was talking to Pice just briefly in the afternoon about that. According to Matt Law, it's kind of like a three-way shootout between three potential new owners for the time being, all of them having at least part American kind of influence in whatever their bid ends up being. One of them is, of course, Todd Bowley, is it? With Hans-Jörg Wyss, obviously the first one that kind of came onto the scene, Hans-Jörg Wyss being the guy that kind of announced to the world almost before Roman announced it that he's planning to sell the club, essentially. One is the other one, but I forgot, it's some sort of family that apparently ruined everything because they're tight, is what Pice explained to me. So I'm like, cheers, mate. And then the other one is the guy that ruined the Jets in America. And it's also a prick, apparently. So I already didn't want like Wyss and Todd Bowley to come in, but now apparently they look like a best option. So, that's not great. Clutch, if it is those three, is that your most preferred option as well? Or is it just cry yourself to sleep?
I mean, I see how the Jets are run, and they haven't been good in, I'm checking my watch here, ever. So I wouldn't go for them. Todd Bowley's probably the best choice because at least he does something with the Dodgers, and the Dodgers pretty much are one of the teams that go to the World Series every year. So at least that, I don't know how much involved he is in that group, but at least he has some understanding of how to make something successful. Whether you put money into it, you go for the players that you use the most money for, those kind of things. But yeah, for me, it has to be that. If it's between that, unfortunately, because it seems like that's like the only realistic option at this point. The Turkish guy came out and said he's very upset because they had all the paperwork and whatever, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, for me, I think it's Todd Bowley who has to be the guy, him and the Swiss dude. Because, I mean, you got to pick the lesser of the three evils. And to me, those are the lesser of three evils.
The third in that consortium is. And that whoever that third person is, if we knew, could make or break whether we want this or not. If that makes sense, Pice, go on.
I was just going to say, I don't know the name, but Matt Law said it's understood to be someone with property development experience. So that was like guessing that he could be involved with Stamford Bridge. So I'm guessing like Bowley's going to lead it. And then with, to be honest, I still don't know why the old guy is involved. Like, why? I don't know why he's involved for. But
maybe it's another PR thing, just to make sure we have one European involved, so that when it comes to it, and we're compared to like Man United, we're like,
exactly, like realistically, like realistically, what is an 86-year-old going to do with day-to-day running of a football club? Like, you know what I mean? Like. I made a jokey fan cam the other day, right, of them two, and like literally, he is like, I'm not being offensive or anything, but he's so old, like he could hardly stand up in one of his interviews. Like,
oh no, neither can Joe Biden, and he's president of the United States. So
I was going to say Joe Biden, yeah. So it's like, Joe Biden.
Well, what does that say, really?
It's like, seriously though, like.
It's a problem, man. It's a problem. I mean, Brian asked here, any news in the Saudi media group? According to Nizar, I think it was, they are still in the running, but who knows how true or not true that is. Muhsin forgot his name. The Turkish Donny, anyway. Who called this? Did someone put his name? Bayrak? Excuse me, potentially. Yeah, he said like, oh, we were basically close to completing it next week. It's like, oh no, how awful. I mean, that guy, I rate his PR, to be honest. Also, someone said the gold miner from Ghana, well, he's got good plans. He wants to sign Messi, he wants to sign Ronaldo, even though they're both a bit shit these days. But, you know, imagine if some Ghanaian gold miner bought Chelsea. It'd be quite funny. So, you know, be quite cool. I rate it. So, but hey, probably is going to end up being one of these three Americans. Con, just to finish that topic before we get into talking about the game, essentially. Are you like one of those that are like, oh, no, I don't want any American owners? Or is it a case of you don't want any consortiums? Or have you now, after what happened today, gotten to the point where it's like, just please don't be shit? Because that's what I've gotten to, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I'm the last option, bro, because I'm not going to lie. Don't really know anything about any of the guys. Sounds like this West only wants to get involved with the club because he has some sort of problem with Roman. So it's like some rich point scoring. And I don't really want a guy like that like getting involved in my football club, because if you're willing to put that much money in just in spite of someone else, use that money for good, man. Like, you ain't got long left in this world, so you could use that money you've got for good. That's a lot of money that can help a lot of people. But no, at your age, your big age, you want to be immature and do it out of spite. Like, what's that about? I don't want that guy anywhere near my football club, but I'll take it after a guy who reportedly runs the Jets. So all I've heard is bad things about them. I don't know.
We have heard good things about what Bodie does with the LA Dodgers, to be fair. In terms of
bro, I genuinely, at this point,
is also much smaller and requires much less money to be the big spenders in that sport. It's a very different story. It's like comparing, I don't know, well, Europa League football to Champions League football, essentially, kind of in terms of financial.
It's a little bit different. I mean, you got to think like one of the biggest sports franchises in the entire world is the Yankees, and they're spending as much as them these days.
He doesn't own the Yankees, though.
Yeah, but he's spending about the same. So the Yankees are not doing the same kind of spending that the Dodgers are at this moment.
Yeah, but do they? But like, do you have the numbers? What do they spend? Because
I have no idea.
It's nowhere near what like football clubs spend.
Could be different. I don't know. I don't know about football clubs. I just know they're about the same as the Yankees, which are one of the richest.
Fair dues then. In that case, I might have to retract my statement. Another super chat by Lurifix. Appreciate you very much, mate. Still don't know what SEK, what currency that is. If Lurifix, I'll see you in the chat. Just put in a chat what currency that is. Because is it just Swedish crowns? But why? Where was that? What's the E doing there? But anyway, please inform me. If we're going to be honest, didn't UK and USA base their war in Iraq on false reports of bioweapons that didn't exist? No sanctions for that, I guess. To be honest, I'm not clued up enough that I'm going to...
And Laurenz, one of the people who voted on that war, by the way. Sorry, just one of the people who voted on that war, by the way, bro. One of the MPs was the guy who was the most vocal about Roman Abramovich.
Fuck that guy, by the way. He's
like,
so
are you having a laugh? You voted on an illegal war, and you're trying to... It's the biggest pot kettle black I've seen in my life, bro. That's what we're working with here. A bunch of clowns who like taking little schoolboy jabs at each other in Parliament. Have you seen the Parliament over here, bro? When you watch it, they're making these little posh boy insults at each other. It's the worst thing I've seen in my life, bro. Honestly, can't smoke in public buildings, but we can smoke cigars in here. Like, bro, they just live by their own rules, man. Like, they can have parties when we're locked down. They can do coke, what's a class A substance, and not go to prison for it. If I do that, I get caught, I'm in trouble. You know what I mean? What's this about the double standard with them, bro? Bunch of clowns.
I don't disagree with you, bro. I don't disagree with you, if I'm honest. Nope, not what I tried to highlight. Sorry. Apparently, baseball teams spend over 200 million in wages. So, fair enough. Reasonable. But obviously, in America, they don't have... I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Clutch, or just in the chat. Because of the whole draft system, you don't really have transfers as much, right? So that means a lot more of the budget is left over to be used on wages because you don't have to spend big money on transfers, right?
You don't like. There's no exchange of money for players. That only happens in football.
Meaning
you don't.
A lot
no other
more
sport.
of the budget is left over to spend on wages.
You are correct.
Fair.
But it also depends on how much the club makes. So I'd have to look into it more.
No, it's fair. I hear you. Before we get into the actual player ratings now, though, ladies and gentlemen, we are this month still sponsored by Manscaped. It didn't quite, get them fully involved in the stream this afternoon because I was like, it felt a bit too depressing to make an ad read and everything. But we are sponsored by Manscaped. And hey, if you want to cheer yourself up but get yourself in better shape downstairs, then do use my code. Because, like I said, I am sponsored by Manscaped, and they're the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. They offer precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. And they recently launched the Ultimate Men's Hygiene Bundle, the Performance Package 4.0. And like I just said, exclusive offer for you, 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code LAUSCFC at Manscaped. Now, what do we have in the Performance Package 4.0? Number one, the Morn Lower 4.0. The trimmer of the future, shall I say. It's brilliant. Like, it honestly is. Cutting-edge ceramic blades so you don't cut yourself as much. A little light at the top. Very, very good. What else have you got? The Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer. Again, you know, it does a little zzz. Do you know what I mean? It's great. Very satisfying to listen to. Zzz. You stick up your nose and all the problems are solved, essentially. You've also got the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and Crop Reviver Ball Toner. Just trust me, your balls will thank you because it smells nice. Well, I guess your nose will also thank you. And whoever else's nose will be in reach. Under consent, of course. And to top things off, Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts into their Performance Package 4.0. The Manscaped Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag. Bring your confident boxers to another level. It's time to take care of yourself and get 20% off and free shipping with the code LAUSCFC at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use the code LAUSCFC at checkout. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. So, let's get back into talking about Chelsea. And now, actually talking about a certain game that took place tonight. Who would have thought? Why is it always that we have the big news, like Roman officially selling the club, or when he announced it? And then today, always on match day. Like, honestly, we won today. We'll get into how great we thought it was in a second. But credit where credit's due to the players, to everyone that works for the club in terms of Thomas Tuchel and everyone beneath him of the staff. Credit to them because, yes, it's Norwich, yes, the bottom of the league, but still, the fact that no matter what's going on, we just keep actually playing all right these days, scoring goals, getting results, like, fair play, fair play. Now, I highlighted it like this now because to me, Mason Mount wasn't quite a right winger in a 3-4-3 today. And very often I saw him and Cobb on a similar level, so that's why I painted it like this. Also, it was kind of the same system we played against Burnley in the second half. Obviously, if you guys think it was this, then I'm happy to be, disagreed with, shall we say. But for me, because Kai was so much on the right, that to me, Kai just wasn't a central striker. And Mason wasn't central enough to play as a 10, but he was also on the right. So that's why I'll paint it like this. Obviously, I haven't filled the team yet, which I should have done, but I forgot. But Antonio Rudiger was, for once, rested. So we had Andreas Christensen, the guy going to Barcelona. Also looked a bit like a Barcelona player today when he tried that slide tackle and messed it up royally. Had him playing left centre back. Trevoh Chalobah having a very eventful game. At right centre back, of course. Saul, the guy, playing left wing back again. What a time. Reece James, of course, unfortunately back out injured. So Azpilicueta back in the team at right wing back. Had to come off at half time. Unsure whether that was precautionary because we're like, okay, you just came back from injury with 2-0 up, let's take you off, or whether it was that he got injured again. I am not 1,000,000% sure. But Con, if I asked you, do you think it was more this formation, or was it to you more of a 3-4-3? Oops.
At times it looks like a bit like this. At times it looks like a 3. What was it? A 3-4-1-2. Sometimes it looks like a 3-4-3. Like, that's Tuchel, though. Just changes whatever in game, It looks like one formation from the start, and in game we changed about 2 or 3. That's just Thomas Tuchel for you. Even in these crazy times, this guy is still an elite manager,
Fair dues. I'm just trying to read here what Clutch put in here, whether there was anything said about... okay. Aspie at halftime didn't feel well, stomach problems, looked pale, so we decided to change. If that's the case, Aspie had an absolute blind of the first half. Fair play to him. But yeah, at least not injured, so that's something positive, although it seems like some sort of bug is going around the Chelsea dressing room, which is not great either. But here we are. I hope I didn't miss any super chats when I wasn't on screen. But Pice, would you go along with that this was kind of the majority of the lineup? Of course, like Con said, it definitely switched around a little bit between the 2 or 3 different ones.
No, I felt Mount was definitely more towards the right. Werner was more wide.
Oh, I agree with that. I completely agree with that. But Kai was too much on the right to be like this. And I also think Mount was too deep to be here.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I did notice like Kai and Aspie got in each other's way quite a lot. It's like Kai was drifting them out everywhere. It was hard to see where he was trying to play. But I mean, I guess it's just say his elite movement, really. Like, he was causing all sorts of trouble, moving up to the left as well, dropping deep. There was a moment in the first half where
if you want to be real, like real tactical lineup, maybe we should draw it a little bit like this. That's probably the most realistic.
Yeah, there was a moment in the first half, I think, where he literally dropped into like almost centre back, and I was like,
yeah,
what on earth is he doing? It was like crazy. I was like, done.
They should have panned to Lukaku when that was happening, just to make sure whether he was watching and what movement looks like.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's maybe a little bit over the top. I don't need my striker to be a centre back, but compared to Palace. Jester said it here in his way it was a 3-4-3, but each forward player has a different role. Mounts was to drop deep and help build up play. 1,000,000%, but because Havertz was so far to the right, and also the fact that we played, also confirmed by Tuchel, more of a 2-striker system in the last game when it worked so well against Burnley in the second half, that to me was like, okay, we played against Burnley second half. Tuchel is a guy that when something works, he likes to do it again and see if it works again. And that's why I initially painted it like this. But again, I'm happy to like move it around and make it a bit of a mix of the lot. Clutch, your reaction to the team, other than obviously Pulisic not being in the squad, which turned out to be because he was ill. Not many huge surprises, really. I guess Rudiger being rested is a minor surprise, but otherwise.
I did say I thought Saul was to start today at left wing back yesterday. I didn't pick him, but I did say I thought he would.
You did say that, to be fair, although we were all thinking that Alonso is fit, but he's not. He wasn't even in the squad, so.
Yeah, it's just from the way they were doing the training, because one of the training things, they pretty much showed this exact lineup, just with Pulisic in training and not Werner. But it is it's about what I thought. The only thing that concerns me is Werner, as normal, I mean, I hate to go against the guy, but I keep coming back to this where
Bro, he was a disgrace today in every sense of the word.
He's just not good enough for Chelsea. He's not good enough for the Premier League. There's like 3 teams he works against, and everybody else, this is what you get. And I can't be asked to play him anymore. Like, I'd rather you go play Havertz on the left and Lukaku up top if that's how you're going to do this. That's what I would rather you have, even no matter how much worse we look. Because, I mean, Werner was just doing absolutely nothing today. He was doing his runs, then he was running out of challenges and all that kind of thing. But other than that, I thought it was pretty solid. Rudiger gets his rest. I'm a little surprised he didn't play Ziyech, though.
As am I, which again makes me even more think that it wasn't a 3-4-3, but 2 strikers, because otherwise, just play him out on the left, Ziyech on the right, and have a better system, and just don't have to play Timo. Again, that's why I'm thinking it was more of a front 2 than a front 3. But hey, Timo, how he got to play 85 minutes of that, backing out of every single challenge again. We'll get to it in more detail later. Let's start with the back 3. I just want to start with him again because the guy is just so good. Like, no matter who we play, and I know Norwich aren't the best team in the world, but you see Christensen trying to sprint back, trying slide tackles, making himself look like a fool. Chalobah auto-scoring and actually having a good game until a certain part in the second half when he started to struggle a bit more, giving a penalty away and this and that. Even when they were defending, the same goes for Aspie and Saul. Sure, they're from higher positions and need to kind of track back when balls are played over the top of them. But still, there looks like there needs to be so much effort to defend. When Thiago Silva defends, he just goes there, clears the ball, barely any effort had to be made, and it's just done. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's Thiago Silva. Like, they were hitting us on the counter-attack. Thiago Silva was barely walking across the box, intercepted it perfectly, and is like, all right, thumbs up. Do you know what I mean? Those are the thumbs up I want to see Lukaku, by the way, not just random thumbs up for nothing. But yeah, Thiago Silva is a player and a half, and it's difficult always to give defenders rating because to some extent you almost let the level of opposition influence that, which you probably should. But at the same time, you never really know that for sure because you only go off the basis of the past. On the day, we don't know for a million percent whether Norwich were bad because they are bad or they were bad because we were good defensively. So it's a difficult one. But I was very, very happy with Thiago Silva. We didn't keep a clean sheet. Not that was his fault, but we didn't keep a clean sheet. So I maybe we won't go for the 9s and 10s, but not far off. So I'm going to go 8.5 for Thiago Silva. I would be happy to give him a 9 as well. I just thought he was very, very good. Clutch, what do you think? Where would you go for the rating?
He had a couple times when I think it was Aarons who got loose on the side, and he was the one who came out and made the challenge. I think it was after Christensen got done in from the slide tackle. I think he was the guy who came in and made the block. Thiago Silva is just one of those players that I think when I think of the Pep talking about Aguero, we just can't replace him. It's not going to happen. We're not going to replace this guy when he leaves. It's just sad that he's 37 years old and we didn't get him 10 years sooner. Because could you imagine what we would do if we had this guy? This guy is so good, and at 37, he's still the best center back on our team. It's crazy how good this kid I said, even though he's 7 years older than me. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the 9. He fully deserves it. He's such a good player.
He really, really is. Honestly, I mean, there was this little trend, or the thing that went viral on Twitter the other day is like, the kind of the football conspiracy theory that you at least slightly believe in. And I think was it Liam Twomey? I think he tweeted that Thiago Silva is the only footballer to ever make himself older than younger, and actually he's 32, not 37. And I'm like, could be. Also, he has a baby face, so that helps him. But fair enough. You went for the 9, 8.5 and 9 so far. Then, Pice, what do you think? Which one of those two would you go for, or something different? Obviously.
I mean, I'd probably go with a 9, to be honest, just because, like Clutch said, like his positioning was so good. He only had one. I think he had one dodgy pass, but that was it. I think we got really confident towards the end of the first half, and Mendy and Silva kept passing it to each other, and then he gave it away. But
I think that was more of Mendy's fault. Sorry to interrupt, but I think that was I do think it was more of Mendy's fault.
Well, he still gave the ball away, so I won't give him a 10. But other than that, he was incredible. Like as usual, cutting out crosses, as Clutch pretty much explained it all. To be honest, some of his long balls as well, very good long balls and switches.
Also, when he had that little run in the first half, when he just drove with the ball, then played it out wide, and then he was in the box, and then he was fuming when the cross didn't get to him. Quite funny. But yeah, to be honest, like I said, certainly be swayed towards the 9. Con, do you agree with the 9, or would you go a little bit different?
Not gonna bore everybody with the same speech. I give it back to Thiago Silva. Don't worry. I'd give him a 9. I want to give him a 10 because of circumstance. You know, a part of me does want to give him a 10 because of that circumstance, because it's crazy times today. Like, it was chaotic around Chelsea, and he was the composure for this whole team today. He was that leader in that team. So that's why I want to give him a 10. Yeah, I'm going to give him a 10 because today of all days is crazy, and he still performs like that. You're taking a mick, Thiago, man. Like, what do we need to do to give this guy a bad performance, man? What do we need to do?
Just play West Brom, but thankfully they got relegated.
Yeah.
But hey, fair dues. To be honest, okay, I'm not going to go quite as high as the 9, but as the 10, sorry. But you make a fair point there in terms of if I'm not sure between two ratings, I'm going to give him the higher one, just because, like you say, today was a crazy day, and that any of these guys performed as well as they did, with the exception of one Donny. Fair play to them. I think it probably still leaves us at a 9 anyway, but here we are. Con gave him a 10. Let's do Christensen first before we get to the more controversial one on the other side in terms of giving a penalty away and scoring. Christensen, he had one moment where he looked a bit silly. Obviously, that slide tackle really didn't work out, and Thiago Silva had to bail him out. Otherwise, decent performance. Obviously, for him, a slightly new position, playing off the left side, where he's always on the right, whether it's a back 4 or a back 3, he's always the right side. I mean, against Palace, he played right back, so pretty much a right heavy, if that makes sense. But did okay on the left. I'm going to give him a 7. Could do 7.5 if I'm honest, but 7 is what I'm going to go with. Con, I'll start with you this one. Do you agree with 7, or do you think a bit low?
I think he had a game today. I think Christensen was good. 7 seems a bit low. I'd give him a 7.5.
Fair dues. Clutch, what do you think? 7.5, 7, a bit higher, a bit lower? What do you think? Where do you put it?
I'm trying to get my bias out of the way that I'm having in my head, where I'm a little still upset about him leaving. So the negative I did see, he did have a wide open header that he pushed right into the side netting, and I thought he should have done better with that. He really should have scored from that. Would have made things a lot easier, I think.
I didn't even notice that. Sometimes I miss things in games, and I'm like, Clutch, or any of you guys tell me about it, and I'm like, how have I missed that?
Yeah, it was anyway, in the first half. He had a wide open header and side netted it. I'm going to go 7. I'm not going to go as high as 7.5. I thought defensively he was good. He did have a shaky moment, but that header he really should have put away, and we would have had a lot less problems in the second half, I think.
Fair. And so, did you give me a rating then?
Yes, a 7.
Fair. Sorry, my bad, bro. My bad. I'll get to that comment about Fantasy PGA Tour in just a second. I will just ask Pies, what do you think? 7, 7.5, maybe a bit lower or higher in either direction?
Yeah, 7.5 seems fair to me. Potentially an 8, but I don't think he did enough individually. Yeah, I think 7.5's levels it out quite a bit. I thought he played decent. Do you know what? I was actually so interested to see, because I always think Christensen, I still do. I think he's very, very quick, right? And we never ever get to see him in foot races, because like Silva, he's often in the correct position and just cut things out. So yeah, he nearly got to that ball with Aaron's, but unfortunately kind of messed up the tackle.
Because the thing is, he also started to overtake Aaron's just as he went for the
Yeah,
side
he's
tackle.
rapid,
If he
man.
just
He's so
waited like
fast.
3 more steps, I think the tackle would have been perfect.
He's so fast, like it's crazy. I was enjoying that. I wish it was like further, they run at each other for further. That was a good foot race.
I hear that. Now, I would kind of like to get the chat involved to some extent, but I did also just say I'm going to give them the higher one if I'm not 1,000,000% sure, and I wasn't 1,000,000% sure between 7 and 10.5. So I'm going to go 7.5 as well, which overall leaves us at the 7.5. Just quickly, because Fantasy PGA Tour asked a second ago, I'm just going to answer it myself. But you guys reckon Rudy was just rested today and it's got nothing to do with the sanctions and him probably leaving? Now, I don't think he is necessarily probably leaving unless this drags out too long. I know everyone's trying to tell you that, they can't sign new renewals, and they can't right now. But once the club is sold, and it will be, we just don't know when it will be, then we can, of course, renew contracts again. So, yes. And also the fact that both Aspie and Christensen, who are in the same situation in terms of contract, did start. That's why I'm very sure Rudy was simply rested. But I guess we'll find out more if he doesn't play against Newcastle Sunday. It wasn't rest, but I'm pretty confident he will. Trevoh Chalobah on the other side, just 2.5 or whatever minutes in, already got a goal. Norwich with some of the worst set-piece defending I've ever seen in my life. Chalobah didn't have to jump. Got a header in the 6-yard box from a corner. So that's awful. But hey, then he unfortunately also gave a penalty away. Now, people are calling it stupid. For me, it's more of a reflex. But then again, I'm not a professional footballer and centre-back that maybe you don't you train yourself to not have that reflex anymore? If you haven't, maybe you should, because you can train away certain reflexes. But it did look like a reflex. But how many times have you seen? And to be honest, Chalobah nearly already did it earlier when he tried to head the ball. He also went hand first. And I thought, luckily then it didn't hit his hand. And then 5 or 10 minutes later, whatever it was, he did. Penalty given. And obviously Mendy doesn't save penalties. So it was 2-1 at the time. But he did score. And he had a very good first half, I thought. A decent second half until not long before that penalty. And then struggled a bit after that. So it's a tough one to call for me. With the mix of the two, of the big positive and the big negative, I'll probably, and the fact that we still won, and obviously the goal arguably counted more than giving a penalty away when you're already 2-0 up. I'm gonna give him the same as Christensen. I'm gonna go 7.5 as well. I think the goal and the penalty allow that. Just because I was very happy with him, particularly in the first half, if I'm honest. Price, what do you think? 7.5 too high with the penalty given away, or justified? Or maybe would you even go higher?
I'd go slightly lower at a 7. I know you got a goal, but I just think lately, I don't know, I said this previously, I feel like he was much more solid at the start of the season compared to now. I just feel, I don't know, like there was a period of like stretchy games, quite a few stretchy games where he was starting all the time, and I was just like, yeah, I've got no problem with him starting. And I still don't really, but I'm a bit on edge sometimes, like when players are running at him, like even in the first half, he like did a tackle, gave away a corner. I was just like, at the start of the season, you would cleanly tackle that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just feel like he's a bit hit and miss lately. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too harsh, but I've seen quite a lot of other people say it as well. So, but yeah, I mean, the penalty thing is, I do agree, it's a bit harsh. It's more of a reflex, but still, like, you are taught to keep your hands, at a certain position. So it was a penalty. I mean, he knew it. Like you could see it as soon as he knew his face. So
I'm just surprised. That is another one where VAR. I'm like, you are such a bunch of clowns. Like that was so obvious. Don't send the ref to the monitor in that situation. Just save everyone the time. And
you know what makes me laugh?
There was no debate to be had. Just tell him it's a pen. End of discussion. Do you know what I mean?
What makes me laugh is that I cannot remember a game in the Premier League where a referee has been advised to go over and he's like stuck with his original decision, Like, I don't understand it. What is the need for a monitor if you're just going to go off the VAR's, referee every single time decision anyway? I just point to the spot and get on with it. You know what I mean? Like, I can't remember a ref that's ever overturned a review. Like,
In
it's just
England,
ridiculous.
I say in England for Chelsea games, I can't
Yeah, I'm
remember.
sure they
either,
do
but
it in
I have
other
seen
countries. I'm sure they do it in other countries, but I can't remember too many times. Like, even in Champions League, if someone goes over to the monitor, I'm like, yeah, it's a penalty. Like, you don't even need to worry about it. Like,
I have a quick question about that.
Go
I
on.
thought it was that they couldn't tell the ref that they changed their mind. They had to tell the ref, like, yeah, you should go look at this, and they have to make the decision to change it. I thought they weren't allowed to make the decision from the booth.
but it's like an indirect
But
saying.
it
Like, they'll
happens every
say,
game. That the
Yeah.
decision, like the
Yeah.
decision of Chalobah and Keita, red card, that was clearly made by VAR.
yeah, they know.
I thought they just
basically
said, like, you should go review this, or you shouldn't review it. I
No,
thought that was
like,
like their whole purpose.
No, they give an opinion as well on it, and then they send the referee over. That's why they agree with it all the time, because he probably said, yeah, I think this is a penalty. You should go over and have a look for like a double check kind of thing. That's what they do.
Yeah, I mean, Clutch has a point. I think they were trying to do that in the Premier League because obviously fans had a bit of a go, like, why is the monitor there if you're not going to use it, which is fair. But it's also a case of, like, no matter what the ideal usage of a piece of technology is, there needs, like, a referee, and that's the job of a referee, and also the referee at VAR, not just the referee on the pitch. Just know, like, read the room. Everyone was fully aware there's a penalty. You can just tell the referee it's a clear penalty. You don't even need to look at it, just give it. But in other situations, it's like, well, we think this is slightly debatable. We might give a pen, but maybe check it to make sure yourself. That type of thing. But if it's Stonewall, it's Stonewall. Then don't waste my time. Do you know what I mean? But hey, here we are. Clutch, you brought something up there. Pice went for the 7. Do you think I went too high with the 7.5 as well?
I'm going to be nice and I'm going to give him a 7. I wanted to give him a 6.5. My big problem with Chalobah right now is he seems to be making all these like diving challenges where he's trying to like stick his head out and get to the ball. And it's like, I understand that, but if you stay on your feet are longer than what you're going to get your head to. So why are you doing that? And that's kind of how he ended up getting the penalty, is he's doing these like dolphin dives like he did against Mane that Mane scored from. He's doing that a lot. And I've seen it like 3 or 4 times in that game. And one of them is what cost us the penalty. So I'm not very happy that he keeps doing that. I think he needs to stay on his feet a little bit more and not try the spectacular challenges with his head. But
maybe
there was that
his
one
groin injury stopping him from stretching, and that's why he goes for things with his head. Who knows?
Then we don't need to play him. If you're not able to, I think
you quite literally do if you ever want to get really good rest. But yeah.
I mean, you have Malang Sarr there. No, he did not have a good game, but at some point you're gonna have to give him a run out again. So, and if you're gonna do it, you might as well do it against Norwich, the worst team in the league. But at the same time, he did have a challenge where he barely stuck his foot in there against Timo Pukki and stopped it. So that's why I'm gonna get up to 7. So that's what I'm gonna actually.
And he scored. For flip's sake, do you know what I mean? But fair. Con, we've had 2 7s and 1 7.5 so far. Which one would you go for out of those 2, if not something different?
We'll go for 6.
6?
Okay. I think he had a decent game. A few times got caught out. I didn't like it. The penalty was stupid as well. I know he scored, bro, but that penalty really jarred me because you say it's a reflex, bro. I played football a lot. I think a lot of people have. That's not a reflex. You can easily not do that. He leaned into the ball with his arm. He thought he was being shrewd, and he wasn't, bro. He was trying to be shrewd, bro.
That, whenever I've done a handball, it's basically always been reflex. This
guy's playing netball.
I didn't mean to. Every time.
Do you know what, bro? I actually forgot he scored for a second. I just remembered the second half. Yeah, maybe it's a 7. Then he actually did score. I totally forgot he scored, bro. Sorry, my head's all over the place today.
Hey,
yeah, 7's
totally
fair.
Understandable with today.
7 Christensen 6.5. I don't know. I think Christensen was better, barring the goal, and he didn't give away a pen. Yeah, 7. Yeah, 7.
Fair dues. Fair dues. Let's get to our 2 wing backs. Let's do the one that's actually a defender first. Also, even if he came off at half time. Aspie, I thought he had a decent first half, to be honest. Played a couple of reasonable crosses. Certainly got himself involved. when he won that. I didn't quite win the sprinting duel, but he made sure Brandon Williams did nothing with it. I hate Brandon Williams with a passion, by the way. Ever since the Stamford Bridge, he pushed Hudson-Odoi over the advertising board for absolutely no reason whatsoever. Since then, I hate the prick. But anyway, so as we dealt with that, ran his socks off up and down that pitch, apparently being unwell and being super pain and all sorts of things. So I'll give him even extra credit for it, if I'm being honest. But it obviously is still the same problems I always have with Aspie when he plays a wing back. He's too back towards the opposition's goal, receives the ball, always plays to Georgie or backwards too little times as the ball go forwards. And if it does go forwards, it takes too long to go forwards, and it's just a long ball for someone to run onto. It's never like a quick movement. So that's what I don't like, but I do appreciate the other things. So I'm going to go a bit high for being captain in the circumstances today. Also feeling unwell. For those reasons, I'm going to go 7, even though maybe it's more of a 6.5. But I'm going to push it. Maybe someone is even going to go higher than me. Let's see. Connor, have you go first on this one? Aspie then. 7 for you? Something different? What do you think?
Yeah, go with 7, bro. Can't believe he still played today, knowing what we know now. Big up to Aspie, man. Love that little guy. Yeah. Bro, there was one point, I can't remember who it was up against. And like Norwich were down his side, and the recovery pace he had, I was like, Jesus, Aspie, you still got a little bit in you.
Williams, yeah.
Yeah, that's like, Jesus, you still got a little bit in you, ain't you, mate? So fair play.
There you go. I rate it. Pice, what do you think? 7?
I'm actually going to go 7.5 based off the first half. I think he deserves it. I mean, he was going back and forth. I was going to reference that Brandon Williams thing. I thought he defended really well when he had to. And I just think the commitment he showed today, like, I really loved that. Don't know whether it was just my stream. It seemed to be focusing on him a lot, probably because he was the captain, right?
True.
So, yeah, I don't know. I just kind of saw his body actions a lot, and I was like, yeah, fucking come on, Aspie, like, lead the team, let's go. Like, just got me pumped up. So, yeah, I'm gonna go 7.5 because I think he was, same level with Christensen at least for the 45 minutes.
To be fair, you have actually convinced me. I think I might change mine to 7.5 as well, especially considering he only played the first half and we were very good in the first half. So I will actually agree. And then Clutch, what do you think? Would you agree with myself on Pice as well, or would you go with now Con 7 or something different potentially? I guess
I'm going to leave Khan at a 7 by himself, unfortunately. I love you, Khan, don't worry, but I am going to go 7.5. I thought Aspie was absolutely brilliant today. In the 10th minute, the man was sweating buckets because he was just up and down the field. And the guy's 32, and we know he's starting to lose the legs, but for coming in and doing a shift, he was absolutely brilliant today. Yeah, 7.5.
There you go. Let's get on the other side then. Good old Saul. Yeah. Nothing spectacularly good, but in my opinion, nothing spectacularly bad as well. I would say just ever so slightly above average, hence why I'm going to go 6.5. He did certain things where I'm like, oh yeah, I do rate that. The one thing I will still hold him above Alonso is he gets the ball on the side, and I'm not shitting myself that he's going to give it away immediately. And I enjoy that. I enjoy that in comparison to when Alonso plays there. So I like that. But yeah, thought he's done okay. Not much really to say. Clutch, what do you think?
Didn't really notice him, except I only noticed him twice, and both times he was getting done in defensively. And I don't know if I can really blame him for that, because if I'm going to use that logic for other players who play there, I can't put it against him either. So I'm just going to go an average 6. I didn't really notice him very much today.
Okay. Pice, what about you?
Yeah, I'm going to have to go 6, to be fair. Just thought he was average. And again, lack of pace. Sorry, I know it's not really his fault, but I have a go at it for Alonso, and, I mark him down for it, getting caught out of position and stuff. There was a couple of times down the right-hand side where, again, he was getting overlapped. I think it was by Aaron's. And I was just like, oh my days, like, he's actually really slow. I know people say he's not that slow, but I think he is. I'm going to go 6.
Aaron's is just really quick, so I want everyone that's not as quick.
No, I know, I get that point, but like, it was the same the other game we played the other day. I thought when he got overlapped and caught out of position, I was like, oh my God.
Wasn't that Aaron Lennon though? Another quick guy? Nah, I think you're being a bit hard on the slowness, but
bro, he's like 34, bro. So he's like 34, Aaron Lennon now.
Yeah, but Usain Bolt won Olympic gold at 34, so
I don't know.
It's all good. It's all good. No, when I agree on the pace or not, doesn't really matter. It was certainly caught out, whether that's because of pace or bad positioning or being too slow to react, whatever the reason for it, certainly got caught out. So I do see that. So we've had 2.6 and a 6.5 so far, then, Con. Which one, if any, would you go with?
I go with a 6. I don't think it was horrible today. I think it was all right. Yeah, 6.
Fair. What have I seen? Let me just to make sure what I see what the chat's been saying. Well, to be fair, I only seen 2 ratings, and those are both 7.5, 6.5 to be fair. What is that? Did he what? What are you talking about, Clutch?
Did Usain Bolt win a medal at 34?
Wasn't he by Rio?
He's 35 right now. So
by then, I thought he was quite old.
I just looked him up. He's 35 right now, which means he won a medal last year, which I don't remember.
No, he certainly didn't. So he certainly wasn't 34. Well, fair enough then. Here you go. Let's go to Jorginho. Yeah, decent today. Nothing outrageous. Couple of over-the-top balls, but the special over-the-top ball that was played today was by his midfield partner, Kovacic, not Georgie. Yeah. I don't know. Somewhere between a 6.5 and a 7 for me. I said I'm going to, if I'm not sure between two, I'm always going to give the high rating. So that's what I'm going to do for Georgie as well and give him a 7 and see what the boys think. Pice, what about you?
I'm usually a really big fan of Jorginho, but I don't know, last few games I thought he's tailed off a little bit. I know I don't want to go too harshly into him, and he was still popping the ball about, but I don't know, I felt like he was getting beat a little bit quite easily, out positioned a few times as well. Like, I thought there was quite a big gap sometimes in the middle. It's hard to know what I'm going to go for. Put me on the spot here. 6.5, I think, just a bit above average. I don't think he was. I don't know. I don't know if you guys see it as well or not. Just felt like last few games he's tailed off a bit.
Yeah, no, I would agree with it as well. I don't think he was absolutely amazing. So, like I said, I was between a 6.5 and a 7. I decided to be positive all of them. But fair dues, 6.5 from you. Con, what do you think? 6.5, 7? You're a big Georgie fan, so let's see.
This is going to sound really weird coming from me, but I'm going to give him a 6. I don't think he was great today. I don't think he was poor. I don't think he was particularly great, so I'm just going to give him an average rating. I don't think he was... And I agree with Pius. Last few games, it's a bit... I'm really trying to defend him, and sometimes I think people are overcritical. But I don't know what's going on with him.
Fair. I mean, I do hear it in a way. It's certainly the last 2 games, and especially because before these last 2 games that he wasn't so great, and he wasn't even playing in the other games. So it's a weird one, but yeah, no fair dues. And then Clutch, to finish it off about Georgie, where do you sit on his rating today?
I agree with Colin. I don't think he was very good. I thought he had moments of decent play, but then moments of really bad play. He had a couple through balls that I thought were really good, but other than that, he was getting beat a lot, and I think kind of the negatives and the positives outweigh each other, so I think it's just going to be an average 6.
Okay, I hear that. Let's see what it is, 6.5. Then let's move to his midfield partner, Kovacic. Unfortunately, didn't quite have an absolute wonder assist, and unfortunately didn't quite have an absolute wonder goal when he went for a similar goal to what he scored against Liverpool, just with his weak foot this time, and put it ever so slightly over, or wide, or both, whatever, but it was very close regardless. Outside of that, was good. He was replaced for Kante in the end, and we got better, I will say. Got some control back. If people are going to criticize midfield being open, Jorginho, you're going to have to criticize Kovacic for that. I don't know. I think it was a bit better than Jorginho. I gave Georgie a 7. I'm going to give him a 10.5. So I'm going to go with it. I don't think it was quite enough to give him an 8, but 7.5 I think is pretty reasonable. Clutch, why don't you go first in this one? 7.5 too high for you? Too low for you even? What were you thinking?
I was between a 7 and a 7.5. I think I'm going to go with the higher one. Unfortunately, even though I love Jorginho and I probably should have given him a 6.5, I'm going to go with a little bit higher one for Kovacic because I owe Pius from a couple streams ago. So we're going to give Pius that extra rating. I do think Kovacic was pretty good. I thought he was dribbling through the midfield quite well, and I thought he did lead a couple counterattacks that kind of made us have a little bit of dangerous chances. But Other than that, he was part of the midfield that got ran through a little bit, so we are going to bump it down a little bit.
Okay, I hear that. I saved pies for last. So, Con, what about you then? Kovacic.
We'll go with 6.5 today. I think on the ball he was alright. Off the ball he's horrendous at times. Can't lie. He was a big
Why
reason.
did you say that? Did he get beat too much, or was he out of position? Why do you think that?
Yeah, I just don't know. It felt at times it's like, Cover, where are you, bro? Like, what is the positioning from you? Like, sometimes off the ball, that's where, like, I feel that's where his game lacks at times. And today, like in the second half in particular, I thought it was really poor at times.
Fair. Although I do think that comes from it not fully being a pivot, but more of this one. That's where that comes from a little bit. That Cover wasn't quite in the positions we sometimes maybe would have liked him to be. But I do hear it. Pies, finish it off, Cover.
I was going to go 7.5. I think mainly just the influence he has in our midfield is quite ridiculous, to be honest. I think if you don't play him, you really see how much we lack creativity, drive, confidence, everything, really. I don't know. I noticed the midfield space, as I said, with Jorginho. I'm not too sure whether I should blame it on either of them, to be fair. I don't know. Maybe it was just more of a structure thing. I'm not sure, thinking back on it. But yeah, I think 7.5, just because obviously he had that big chance created, nearly scored a screamer. I just think his influence is just vital to our team. I think it's been proven. So yeah.
But not when he plays with Kante, you think?
Yeah, I don't like that pivot. I know that's controversial, but I hate it.
No. It's not. I don't think that's controversial. I think, but you're saying that his influence doesn't work when he's playing with Kante, essentially.
Well, no, actually, I think his influence is. Well, I guess yes, so in a way, because Kante and Kovacic, I always feel like Kovacic has to defend more.
Yeah,
Because I think they're just both box to boxes, and I think Kovacic is actually the one that actually drops back, and Kante is the one that goes forward. But I still think in whatever pivot he plays, he's going to get on the ball, he's going to make the angles, drive forward, dribble past players, pass forward with long balls, shoot more. So I think he does a bit of everything now.
Fair dues. No, I don't disagree with you, honestly. And it's the same reason why I don't like Kova and Kante midfield together, because it means Kova is the more defensive of the two. But then I say that Kante is the one that had an assist today, to be fair to him. Obviously, I would like to do like kind of the two positives in one, in Mason and Kai. But because Mason was obviously a lot more defensive than Timo Werner, let's do Mason Man first. Got a goal. Lovely goal as well, by the way. What a finish. Big fan of the touch. Big fan about the drag around the defender and a good finish. Lovely. Did he have an assist? No, he didn't. But yeah, good game from him.
He did have an assist.
Oh, yeah, the assist for Chalobah, the corner. There you go. So he did have an assist. So fair play. I thought the link-up play, especially in the first half between him and Kai, was just gorgeous, like absolutely beautiful. Just driven by the fact that our third forward, or even though Mount wasn't kind of a real forward today, but still, a third of these attackers were just a waste of space. So we only had two people linking up, but hey, these two people were linking up well. People were a bit heavily critical of Mason Mount, especially after the Carabao Cup final, but even after the Burnley game, a lot of people were kind of very critical. He certainly, bounced back against his favourite opposition. Obviously had a hat-trick last time out we played Norwich at Stamford Bridge. Got a goal and assist today. Can't really complain. Good performance. Good performance from him. I'm not going to go as high as I did for Thiago, but I'm going to maybe 8 point. I'm going to go 8.5. He was a very good until his goal. A little bit worse then, and then got better in some parts of the second. And maybe 8.5 is too high. I'll leave it at an 8, but maybe I'll push to the 8.5 later. I'll be intrigued what you guys think. Price, I held you on to last for cover. So what do you think for Mason?
I was going to go 8, to be honest. I think 8.5 is pushing it. His goal was very, very good, and he definitely had more of an influence today than previous games. But I expect that, from the front three against Norwich, to be honest with you. But yeah, he was dropping deep and driving forward, and also, linking up in the attacks. So yeah, credit to him. Goal, he got the assist as well. So you can't really blame him. I think an 8's a solid rating.
Sorry, just had to laugh. Cheers, mate. The guy was trying to stay at my house, but unfortunately we couldn't make that happen. But don't ask me on such short notice next time, and we'll sort something. But okay, we've had 2-8, even though Fantasy PGA Tour is very unhappy with us, saying we're giving him less than Thiago Silva, which I understand to some extent. Like, how did Thiago Silva do more than Mason? I get that. It's more like in terms of what their job is. I think Thiago Silva was closer to perfection than Mason Mount, although Mason Mount had a very good game. Dexter says that he got a goal and assist. You can certainly say that leads to a 9. I don't fully disagree. That's why I was thinking that 8.5 at least. But
I don't think his influence is as big as Thiago Silva's. Like in the attack, like in the moments we got peppered from Norwich, Thiago Silva was there. I think that gets a higher rating than a forward who delivers in a game against Norwich. If you kind of get what I mean, like I don't know. I just feel like Thiago Silva's always so vital in the middle. Like that's why I always think we give him really high ratings. But I will say, like when we start on the defenders, we often give higher ratings anyway. So potentially,
it kind of phases out for the wing backs and midfielders, especially while we don't have Reece and Chilwell, and then we're not as willing to give the high ratings anymore by the time we get to the forwards. Yeah, no, it is true. I mean, some stats: 89% pass accuracy. Okay, that's the only stat, but fair enough.
I think Kovacic got 97 pass accuracy. If you want to go by that.
All right, but you can't compare two positions pass accuracies.
No, I'm just saying if you want to throw stats out there.
Yeah, it is true. It is true. Did he actually have 97?
Yeah.
It didn't look like it, I can't lie. But, I mean, not saying it looked bad, but it looked more like an 88% or 90% than a 97%. But hey, here we go. We've had 2 8s, potentially still an 8.5 from me, so we'll see. Clutch, what do you think?
I'm going to be the one that gives Fantasy PGA Tour what he wants. I think he was the man of the match. I thought he was fantastic. He was making all the great passes in behind. Him and Havertz were linking up really well. He came back to defend multiple times. He chased down what's-his-face. I think it was Williams, and stole the ball from behind. He did everything he needed to do today. Like, he was absolutely brilliant today. I thought he was by far the best. I think him, Havertz, and Thiago Silva any one of them you could call for a man of the match, but mine would be Mason Mount today because, he probably should have even more assists too, to be honest, because he had the one to Christensen, he had one in behind to Havertz, I think that Krul saved. He had a couple passes that he honestly should have had assists for, but to me, he was absolutely brilliant.
You know what? You've certainly convinced me to go for the 8.5. Fair dues. Meaning we sit at a comfortable 8.5 with 1 8.5 and 1 9. And then Con, leaving it with you to potentially sway it in one of the directions unless you go for the middle. What rating would you go for Mason?
I'm going to agree with Clutch, bro. I think he was one of the best players in the pitch today. I'll give him a 9 as well. One thing I love what Mount does, and he does it really well when he was given this kind of free role today, is how he links the midfield and attack. I think he's so class at doing it. And he was class at doing it again today. He scored, he got a good assist. That goal he scored as well, that's great. Sad that he couldn't finish easier ones in the cup final, but we move on from that. We're not holding any grudges, Mace. We love you. That was a hell of a finish. Like, the way he just sort of feinted and then banged it, mate, that was class. I thought he moved the ball well. His off the ball work rate was fantastic. I think off the ball he was better than Kovacic as well. And if Kovacic is 7.5, Mount has to be at least 9. Because Mount had a much better game, in my opinion, bro.
That is fair. I think I would personally stick to my 8.5, but I'm going to give you the 9. Just for the missed chance, because that chance I do think he should do better with. But hey, here we are. We have a 9. Why not? Let's get to Timo Werner. Now, to be honest, I don't even think he deserves a rating. I think all he deserves is an emoji. Like, can you stop backing out of challenges, bro? Like, stop being a little shit. Like, what is that? Like, I swear a little baby is more brave than Timo Werner. I've never seen such a scared footballer. Like, you're shit anyway. You can't control the ball. You can't pass the ball. You can't finish. You're not even quick anymore. You got outpaced by fucking 30-something-year-old Norwich captain. I forgot his name. You're outpaced by him. And you back out of every challenge, and it's not the first time he does it. Stop backing out of challenges. Like, it's March. Like, if it's May and he knows he's leaving, maybe I kind of understand he wants to make sure he doesn't get injured. It would annoy me then as well. But it's March. He's been doing it since February as well. Stop backing out of challenges. It's embarrassing. You're a disgrace to yourself. And it pisses me off. Chelsea fans keep singing his name. Like how he keeps trying. No, he doesn't. He backs out of every challenge. Sing some other people's names. Pissing me off. So I want to give him an emoji. Don't have one right now, so I'm going to give him a 0. And he wasn't even as bad as a 0, but just because he's backing out of challenges pisses me off so much. Like, there's nothing worse for a footballer than not having even the bollocks to play football. And that's what he does. Not only does he not have the ability, he doesn't even have the bollocks for it. So go away. Just go away. Just piss off. Don't care where you go. Just go away. Never want to see you again. Like, honestly, stop backing out of challenges. Again, he wasn't actually as bad as a 0, but for that, I'm going to give him a 0. Yeah. Someone got me going, so that's fun. Go on, what do you think?
Bro, I was going to give him a 7.5 for today.
That's fair. Like, if you want to...
Bro, I was joking. I just wanted to see your reaction.
You can't be joking.
I just wanted to see Lawrence's reaction.
Man said that's fair.
Yeah,
Lawrence is too
okay,
polite,
go on,
bro.
because I couldn't be bothered to argue, do you know what I mean?
I'm not even gonna lie. Today, I looked at this and I was like, I really don't have the patience to watch this guy play football for Chelsea anymore. I'm sorry. I like him as a person. I think as a person, he's fantastic. As a footballer at my club, no, you're not it, pal. Bro, what did he do right today? I want to try and give him at least the 1, but I'm trying to think of what he did right today.
He showed up.
Yeah, he ran a bit.
Did he?
Did he?
He was there
as well. When Nathan decided to like put that as his like lineup info, I understand Timo Werner starts for Chelsea today, and I'm like, can this day get any worse, man?
I'm trying to send you the emoji I want to use.
But see, this is
But I
annoying
don't know how to do it.
I like Werner. Like he tried. I know he does try his hardest. He runs a lot. The backing out challenge thing is jarring as hell, launcher, right? So like I don't really want to like bash him too hard because I like him, but at the same time that performance is horrible, man. You know? I'm gonna give him a 2 because I feel a bit sympathetic today. I'll give him a 2.
Okay, all right. See, this time my fair is actually real. Fantasy PJ Joy, he says it the right way, really. We all like him as a person, being Timo Werner. He likes me as well as a person, but I shouldn't be playing up front for Chelsea either. Telling you, I would not be worse than Timo Werner. I can't run for that long. But if you give me the ball, I can control it better, I can pass it better, I can shoot better than Timo Werner. Absolute guarantee it. But yeah, all right. You went for the 2, putting us to a 1 for the time being. Clutch, I'll still give you half a second to figure out. Just the B. Oh, so you did send a B. What does that mean?
Bad. Stands for bad. He's bad.
Okay, bad news. If I'm not letting you have an emoji, how would you translate bad into a number out of 10?
0. Nothing. Nil. I want to give him the poop emoji like Lukaku, but that's reserved for him alone.
Fair. Like, anything more you want to add to that before we go to 5?
I'm so tired of it. He gets goal contributions, right? We all talk about that. We talk about how the man works so hard, but he's pulling out of challenges. He's not even going for that. Is that really him trying his heart out anymore? Are we really calling that same turbo Timo that we used to have? He's not even trying to do that anymore. There have been times when he would have went for the challenge and got clattered, got a foul, but he doesn't even do that. He doesn't work as hard anymore. He just is there. And he can't control a ball. He can't shoot a ball. He can't pass. So what is he good for? I'd rather just use him as a wing back and we could just toss the ball down the side. And if he gets it, cross it. That's about the only thing he can do is a low cross. But yeah, that's my.
He had one cross which was somewhat reasonable, and he didn't even get that to his man, and that's it from good things that I can
Bro, do you remember the one from Mount? He crossed it in. I think it was Mount, or I can't remember if it was Mount or Kine. He passed it into Werner, and his touch was so dead in the box, bro. He couldn't get his shot off.
Right,
I was like,
yeah, no, exactly.
It's like, why, bro? Like, if Lukaku had the performance, if Lukaku had the performance Werner had today, bro, a lot more people on Twitter would be losing their heads. You know, he's lucky he's liked. He's got a nice personality, so that works for Werner. But your footballing ability, mate, is sus. It's hella sus, bro. He did a feint today into a defender, bro. Trying to run into space that's not there, my guy.
Yeah, and I mean, Global said it a minute ago in the chat, saying he creates space, and yeah, that's the one thing he does do. But even that, he didn't do to his usual standard today, because he was just caught in no man's land. He didn't look. He got knocked. He got a knock at some point during the game, and ever since then, I thought until he got subbed off, he didn't look fit anymore. Like he usually, the one thing he does is run around. At least he didn't even run around properly anymore. never fast running either, and then he backed out of every challenge. So it's just nah. Timo makes Torres look like Thierry Henry. Timo makes Torres look like bloody Pele. But anyway, Pice, finish it off for us. We've had 2 zeros and 1 2. Sorry. So where would you go for Timo's rating?
I mean, I said, like, what did I do to deserve watching Werner today? Like, I love the guy, man, as a person, but as a player, he's just so bad. Like, honestly, he's so bad, bro. No technique, he can't take on a player. And I agree with you, bro. I was going to mention it before you did. The backing out of challenges, like, there was one where he was like, he just saw the player running across and he just stopped running.
Yeah.
It was down the line. I was like, what are you doing? Why are you not running towards the ball? I think it was Grant Hanley who slide tackled.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, go in for it. Like, even if you semi go in for it, get to the ball, and then, you know,
like getting booked, like,
yeah, or you like jump over him, but at least you've gone in for it. You know what I mean? You see him like right at the end, not 5 seconds before. You know what I mean? Like, you've already given up. Like, where's the effort? It's just, I give him a 2 because you know why? 2 good switches of play he played in the first half. That's the only reason. I know it's 2 good switches of play he played.
I can't remember those, but bro, I'll take your word for it. Fair enough. We'll sit at the 1 then. And let's go to something more positive. Big King Kai, my guy, with a lovely goal at the end. Should have maybe had one earlier in the game. There was a couple of occasions where he was played through, maybe slowed it down a little bit too much. But there was those occasions where he did really well and forced reasonable saves from Tim Krul, obviously in the Norwich goal. But I tweeted it, especially during the first half. Like, it's just to watch that guy play football when he's on form. It's just a joy. Like the guy just it's like gliding. You know, it's like he doesn't run around. He just has a hoverboard compared to everybody else, and he's just like glides around on the football pitch. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just so nice. It's just so nice, and you can see the confidence in him as well now compared to like give it like a few weeks back. When he played, like, even though he played okay a few weeks back as well, for example, when he scored against Spurs and then broke his finger, but he just looks like you can see the confidence at the moment, and it's great to see. And you can see it in the players around him as well. Like, I swear they give him the ball in so many difficult situations at the moment, which they might not have done in the past, and also wouldn't do with other players playing in this position. It's just, absolutely brilliant. Like I said, the goal was taken so well. We got the assist for Mason's goal, which is a lovely ball as well. Just because I think he could have done a bit better with a couple of the chances. Now, I personally gave Mount an 8.5 as well, so I'm going to give Kai that. Maybe because Mason got a 9, I would like to give Havertz a 9 too, because I'll stick to my 8.5. And if you guys push it up to a 9, you guys push it up to a 9. There we go. Pice, what do you think?
Yeah, I think you've got to give him a 9 at least. Just, I think his all-round the performance deserves it. Like, and then maybe even my personal rating for Mount has to bump up because, like, I'm giving props for Havertz for dropping deep and just being everywhere. Like, he's like the complete package up front. Like, he may not be completely polished yet in terms of, like, there's often times where he gets in the box and I still think he freezes a little bit sometimes, or, you know, he can't get the ball at his feet. Sometimes he gets stuck sometimes under pressure in the box. But other than that, man, like, he's just so good. His finish was insane. He got an assist as well, right?
He did?
Yeah, he got the assist as well. Just all-round games, just so good everywhere. Like, I can't keep track of him. And I think that's why we got so annoyed with Lukaku, is because we can notice Lukaku, what he's doing. Like, you just
and we also see the difference to Kai.
Yeah, and like Kai, like 1 minute he's on the right-hand side next to Asby. Next minute he's deep in midfield. Next minute he's on the left trying to get the ball from Werner. Like, he's just everywhere. And that, like, helps drag other players out of positions. The defenders then think, where's the striker? Because ultimately he's playing up front. He's just playing like a false 9 because he's dropping deep and he's dropping everywhere, you know, or he's going to the right, he's going to the left. He's not playing as an out-and-out striker, the role he plays, but on paper he is. So the defenders obviously think that. You know, they're constantly thinking, where is he? You can't find him. He's everywhere. And that causes confusion and leads to runs and all sorts. There's so many things it does. And that's why ultimately we play a lot better with him. So I have to give him at least a 9, potentially even higher, to be honest, because his all-round game was just so good, like just so good.
Fair. I mean, hey, if you want to go higher, just got to tell me. Con, where would you sit? Would you go higher than a 9? Would you go for the 9, or would you go for my 8.5 for the time being?
No, I'll go for a 9 as well. Him and Mace both get 9s today. Carried that attack with with a passenger with him. Bro, like Kai Havertz today, bro, just to sum up what sort of game he had. I looked at my laptop because I was watching on the stream, right? Don't know why it's not broadcasted in England, but is what it is. And he was on the left. I look at my phone for a second, look up, man's on the right. I'm like, where? Like this guy gets around the pitch so quick. Like he's been training too much with N'Golo, bro. He's learned the trick of the trade just to be everywhere. I swear to God, bro, I love him so much. And he gets an assist today. He gets a goal today, and what a goal that was! And just to a perfect performance, almost. He scores one of those other chances. It's a perfect performance, almost.
And also, he got a goal in a good moment, like because obviously after getting the penalty, after getting the 2-1 back, we kind of lost control. Like they weren't like super close to getting a second, but we needed that third goal just to not make the last few minutes of the game super nervy. Because at that point, like if it stays 2-1, we're going to injury time to get a free kick from some sort of position, even if throw-in. I mean, like anything can happen. But the fact that he, sealed it with the 3-1 was super important in that moment. Clutch, I think I might even push mine to a 9, but I kind of saw that coming. I just wanted to make sure you guys actually go higher as well. But here we are. You going to go for a 9 as well? Would you go higher? Would you go for an 8.5? What do you think?
He's going to be a 9 as well. I think he is one of those 3 players that today were just on top of everything. If you look at the way Liverpool and City are so successful without out-and-out strikers, that's what Kai Havertz is doing, and that's why we're becoming more and more successful in our attack. He is so hard for center backs to cover because you don't know where he's going to pop up. You're going to drag him here, he's going to drag him there. You never know. And with especially if you have a Mount or a Pulisic out there who, when he drags a player there and they can run in behind and they can cause problems, we're just going to be so much better with Kai Havertz leading the line than we ever will with Lukaku, because Lukaku just is way too stationary. He did have a decent time when he came on, or a decent chance when he came on. Fair play to him. But we look so much better with Kai Havertz, and he's the guy I want for the future. Him and Broja, not Lukaku, because I think the way we play and the way teams are going to always defend against us, because we're Chelsea, they're going to sit deep and they're going to wait. Kai Havertz is going to drag center backs out of position. That's what he does. That's what he's so good at. And now we're seeing him get the goal contributions that we need from that striker. I don't want to bench him anytime soon. I give him a 9.
Fair dues. I will keep my rating to last for Ruben, just because I'm intrigued what you boys are going to have to say. Pice, where do you go first? Ruben obviously came on second half, played wing back, was robbed of an assist by the donkey up top. No, I'm joking. But could have had an assist if Lukaku got a bit luckier with the finish. What do you make of Ruben's performance?
I just want to know why he's playing right wing back, to be honest with you.
Who else would you have brought on a right wing back today?
I wouldn't have brought anyone on, to be honest, or just brought, or maybe move Chalobah there, to be honest, and then bring another centre back on, bring Sarr on. Why is Ruben playing right wing back? I don't know. But yeah, I thought he played okay. 6.5 maybe. I feel for him. Why is he playing there? He's clearly not comfortable. It's just, yeah. I don't know.
And he looked to have picked up a knock at the end as well. He was lying off the pitch for a few minutes. Chelsea just kept playing, which in the situation of being 2-1 up, I thought was a bit strange. But hey, here we are. Then he got up again, was involved, and then when the game finished, he was lying on the floor again, was treated by the doctors. Obviously, we had already made all 3 subs, so he kind of had to play through it in a way. But fair, a 6.5 from you so far. I will give him the rating without a star, because obviously he played 45 minutes just like Aspie did. But Con, Ruben today, 6.5 from Pies. What would you go for?
I don't think he did good defensively today. Can't lie. Give him a 6. I don't want to be too harsh. I got the same question as Pies. Why is he playing there? Why? He was at centre back. He's been now right wing back. He's played in the forward positions. He's played in the pivot. Fair play to Loftus, man. He just gets on with it. He doesn't complain. Fair enough, mate. Because you've been playing. Next we've got to see him in net, mate. Forget Bettinelli and Kepa, mate. This is our backup keeper now. So fair play to Loftus, bro.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, I don't necessarily want him to play wing back either, but I guess Pulisic not being in the squad, Callum not being in the squad, Reece James not being in the squad. I mean, yeah, fair enough. What Price just said, just push Chalobah up. But then you bring Saar on, and then you have to move Christensen out of position. So for that one sub, you have to move 3 players around. Maybe it's just easier when you're 2-0 up and it's only, in quotation marks, Norwich, then maybe it's just easier to bring Ruben out on the side. I don't know. Clutch, we've had a 6 and a 6.5 so far. What would you go for?
Ruben's like Tuchel's version of Ampadu or Pulisic in the beginning of the season when he was just going all over the place, isn't he? Yeah, he is in that same position that Pulisic was in a little bit earlier, so we're not going to be too harsh. I mean, I do think he was not great, but obviously there's reasons he wasn't great. It's just I don't think he's got the pace to push it up there, and the skill that he has it's kind of the same as Pulisic, right? It's getting the ball at his feet and driving at defenders. I don't think the wingback really does that. I don't think that's what they're supposed to do very much. I think that's they're supposed to link the play up with the forwards, and it's not really his game. So I'd probably go with the 6. I do feel bad for Ruben, but if it was me, I probably would have pushed Saar on, moved Chalobah to right back, put Saar at left back, and we could just go into a back 4.
Could have done that, I guess. Could have done that for sure. But then where's Saul? Does he play in the midfield 3 and Mount plays in the front 3?
Yes.
Fair enough. I'm probably actually slightly controversially agree with the 6. Just for his defensive side of the game, I'm going to give him a 5. For his attacking side of the game, I'm going to give him a 7. Leaves me at a 6. Quite as simple as that, if I'm being perfectly honest. Got Kante and Lukaku obviously were subbed on at the same time as each other. Kante got the assist for Kai Havertz's goal, for which reason I'm going to give him a 7 with a star. But yeah, otherwise, did I really notice him? No. But we did also gain some extra control back when he came on, so also in that sense, fair play. But yeah, 7 from me. Clutch, would you think 7 fair with the assist?
Yes, because I thought his energy, especially to actually win that ball back up as high up as he did a couple of times, like he was in their box pressing them, and he's one of the pivots. So, I think in these kind of games, that's what Conte brings. I don't think he should have started, obviously, because I mean, you shouldn't need Conte in these kind of games, but he's such a luxury player to have when it comes to like subs because of how much energy he brings, especially when he came on within like the 85th minute or something like that, 86th, 83rd or something, whatever it was, very late in the game. He's so difficult to defend at that point. Like, it's just so hard because he's going to be all over the place. Yes, 7.
Fair dues. Con, 7 for you. Obviously, he was only on the pitch for a fair few minutes. Like, obviously, I think it was 85th plus injury time. But he did get an assist, so that kind of warrants a rating, I suppose.
Yeah, I want to give him an 8 with a star, bro.
Okay.
Because I think he came on, his energy and presence just changed the game, and then he gets the assist as well. Like, if we're giving it with the star, I want to give him an 8.
Cool. Fair dues, to be honest. And then, Pice, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I'm going to go with an 8 with a star. I thought he was very good coming on, got the assist, very active. Didn't come on, obviously, for too long, and the fact that he got the assist is like, yeah, big ups to Kante, man.
Fair. And then Lukaku obviously was on the pitch for the same amount of time as Kante. Didn't get an assist though, so excuse me. Could go for an 8, I suppose. Nearly scored. Also kind of robbed Ruben of an assist, which I only care about because it was Ruben. But yeah, nothing too bad to say about it. Like, yeah, on confidence, Lukaku probably scores the chance that he has, but he's not in confidence, not even playing. So yeah, but no big complaint. I'm not going to sit here and have a rant about him. But what we saying, Pice? NA, or do you want to give a rating?
I mean, yeah, probably an NA, to be honest. I thought he was going to score when I thought the movement was actually good for once.
Yeah,
he kind of like stepped forward. No, stepped back. Yeah, stepped back and then came towards the ball. Yeah, it got. Did it even get deflected? I thought it was blocked.
I actually thought it was the defender that got to the ball first, and the defender hit it against Lukaku's like kind of ankle, and from Lukaku's ankle it bounced next to the goal.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what happened because, I mean,
but you could argue Lukaku get your leg to the ball first before the defender, I guess. But That's then harsh.
Yeah, it's harsh because the defender was already sort of closer.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. There you go. Let's do an NA then. Why not? Anything you want to add? Sorry.
No, I'm fine with an NA. To be honest, like I was going to say, I thought subs came on pretty late today. I'm not going to lie. I thought we was going to make more subs earlier, but
exactly. Like, at least the second one we could have made a little bit early in the game after we lost a bit of control. Certainly the latest after we went 2-1 down, I would have said. But hey, it is what it is. We won the game, so not too much to complain about, really. Clutch, do you agree with the NA, or would you like to give a rating?
Yeah, no, I think NA, but I will like to say that he did have some good movement when he came on, so I will give him props for that, especially for that chance he had. That was actually a really good awareness to kind of step back from the two defenders crashing the goal and come out. So I will give him props for that, but NA is what he gets.
Fair. And Con, do you agree with the NA as well?
I want to give him 10, bro, for his role on the bench today. I think that's a great performance there. I'd like to see him more often. I'm joking.
I would. It's true.
It's a poor joke. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
Bro, since Palace, the guys played one game and that was against Luton. Lukaku in the mud.
Come on, guys. You love Lukaku already, man. Leave Lukaku alone. He's a good guy.
See, today
you guys don't know, but he's my favorite player. I have never said that out loud.
Sorry, guys, go on.
I said you guys don't know it, but he's my favorite player. I just don't say it out loud.
Yeah, exactly. See, remember the times, how simple was life when all we had to complain about was Lukaku's interview. How things have changed since then. How we don't give a shit about a stupid interview in comparison to what's happening now.
We're winning the Champions League this season, by the way.
That's what I said, Pies in my space.
We are winning the Champions League. It's just like something stupid's going to happen.
If we win the Champions League without Ben Chilwell, that's mad.
Bro, that is like...
that means either Saul, Sarr, or Alonso will be our starting left back or wing back when we win the Champions League. Think about that. Man.
Bro, Alonso to score the winner to break Man City fans' hearts again.
I was actually going to tweet, we're winning the Champions League and Alonso scoring the winner. All this controversy means that.
Just you know how cooked you're going to get on Twitter if you do that?
Bro, like, people will probably agree. Say, yeah, that'd just be a Chelsea thing, to be honest.
He only get cooked when we get knocked out.
Yeah. He will bookmark it and they'll come back to you. But yeah, still 2 more ratings to go. Let's see whether Pice has given it some thought how he wants to do his performance ratings. But first, we'll do Thomas Tuchel. Yeah, I'm going to give him a 10 because with everything going on, to get the team together, to motivate it well enough to get the tactics right. Yes, I know it's only Norwich, but, you know, with these circumstances, I wouldn't have been surprised if we got battered today, if I'm being perfectly honest. And like a bit in the first half against Luton where we were struggling. But today it was out the blocks. You know, second minute we scored, 15th or whatever minute, we made it 2-0. And yeah, then we took the foot off the gas a little bit, but we still could have continued a bit more for a third in the first half even. Yeah, second half struggled a bit then, sure. But obviously, to some extent, missing Aspie or Aspie having to come off, missing Reece James, missing Chilwell, missing Alonso, missing Pulisic, missing Hudson-Odoi. Like, you know, obviously with Ruben at wing, like, we're not going to be quite as good as, to be honest, with any of those 4 options, probably, maybe aside from Alonso. But yeah, so for those reasons, with everything going on, I'm going to give him a 10. But in terms of if we ignore the outside thing, maybe I'd say 8 or something. But the outside thing can't be ignored because it doesn't really get any bigger than this within the football club, does it? So hence why I'm going to say 10. Con, what about you? Is that enough of a reason to give him a 10?
Took words out my mouth, bro. Yeah, gets a 10 today, 100%.
Okay. Clutch.
I'm going to give him a 10 because it came out that he's not leaving Chelsea no matter what. So he's going to stick with us. I'm going to stick with him. 10.
There you go. Oh, yeah, just quickly. Jamie Carragher can get right in the bin. Like, honestly, what are these people talking about? Like, do you hear yourself? You're a bunch of clowns. Bunch of absolute clowns.
Bro, just ignore Carragher, bro. He's scousing it, is what it is.
Yeah, but like, it's not even just him. Like, they're all equal clowns. Doesn't matter where they're from. They're all clowns.
Bro, anyway. Just ignore it, bro. They're guys with, like, a combined GCSE level of, like, 4. Like, they talk about politics like they know what they're talking about. But, bro, they ain't got a clue what they're talking about. They just waffle. Like, stick to the football, lads. Stop talking about Chelsea. No, Jamie Carragher, when you stop spitting at kids, we'll stop using dodgy money to win us trophies, innit?
Exactly. Well, we're not. Well, it depends on who the new owner is, I suppose. But hey. And Fantasy BJ doing what he did say is that Manchester United should go after Thomas Tuchel, and that Thomas Tuchel, with the uncertainty at Chelsea, should take it if we got offered by Man United. Why would anyone want to go to that toxic pile of shit? But anyway, but also give him a 9 for playing Werner. I kind of agree with it in a way. But hey, could have just played Ziyech, but he chose not to, and with everything surrounding it, I still give him a 10. Pies, do you agree?
100%. I just found it funny as well. Every time we sung Roman Abramovich, Norwich fans booed. I thought that was hilarious.
Did you guys see what they were chanting at Lukaku?
Burnley did the same, by the way.
Did you guys see what they were chanting at Lukaku?
No.
Yeah, what a waste of money or whatever. Yeah,
yeah. They said like you were bought with dirty Russian money. What a waste of money! And he was just sitting there smiling at him.
Yeah, I think. No, in all seriousness, like as I said, I would have preferred subs earlier. I thought sort of 70 minutes. I thought we should have brought Ziyech on at least. Just for Werner, put Mount on the left. Like Werner stayed on way too long for me. But other than that, bro, like yeah, to navigate this victory, even though it was Norwich in these circumstances, and we played like, you know, he's got to motivate the players, right? They probably had meetings and stuff as well. Like, you know, after, you know, loads of shit probably went on at the training ground today, and wherever they were staying that we don't know about. So, yeah, I think he's dealing with everything, every situation he's just dealt with so well. And I think, you know, he's saying like, let's wait and see what happens. But he seems dedicated to us. So, yeah, bro, I just love the guy. He's my favourite Chelsea manager, I think. Everything he says, like, yeah, like, have you seen his quote? You probably haven't, but I think me and Quan have both tweeted it out. He said, as long as we have enough shirts and a bus to drive to the games, we will be there and we will compete hard. Like, this guy's just a legend. Like,
a bus to drive
yeah, like,
hey,
like
next
how,
thing you're going to go with e-bike.
like, how can you, like, he's still cracking jokes out of, like, the most serious situation in club football. Like, he makes everyone just feel
probably
so
not
much
just
better.
us that have to, you know, laugh because otherwise we'll cry. So maybe that's why.
But, like, Jay, he just makes everyone feel so much better, I swear. Like, I love it, man.
Yeah. For me, it's probably still Jose, but it's like a lot of people have tweeted today, if Tuchel takes us through this and we come out on the other end and things are still good and we're still like one of the top teams in the country and the world, then he's taking that top spot. Then he's absolutely taking the top spot. But let's get to performance. What we've recently added in terms of what we rate. I will give it, because there you definitely have to like let the kind of level of opposition fly into a little bit. So with everything said, I will give it, I was going to say 7.5. I'm going to give it an 8 because not only does the whole everything happening today around it go for Tuchel, it goes for the whole players, hence why it will also go for the performance, hence I'm going to say 8, but my honest rating probably is 7.5. Pies, have you figured out how you want to do the performance rating now?
Not really, but I think I'm just going to judge it off what it says, the performance. So I think I'm just going to judge it on overall, not really take the manager into account, just going to judge it on how the team played, and how the two halves went, I think. So, yeah, overall, I'm kind of looking at an 8, to be fair. I was going to say 7.5, but I may just give the extra 0.5 for the, you know, the circumstances around the game. Obviously, I think in the second half, we definitely tailed off. And there was a period, even towards the end of the first half, for like good 10 minutes, we were just passing the ball. But I think once we just got those 2 early goals, like, we was like, oh yeah, cheers, like we'll just sit back now. And I guess Tuchel was like, he was sitting down much more today. Like, he wasn't as active, definitely not as active on the touchline. And maybe that kind of played into why we wasn't playing so fast, you know, because he usually puts a rocket up people's asses. So, yeah, you know what? I'm going to go 7.5. I'm going to go 7.5 because I don't think it was the greatest performance, even though we won. Nice goals and stuff, but overall it wasn't like, you know, it was like second half. We allowed Norwich back into the game for a penalty. And then even after that, I don't think, you know, we played that great. Got the goal really late, third goal. So I'll go 7.5.
You know what? I will actually agree, because what you said, even without the giving them a 0.5 extra type thing, even with that, maybe a 7.5 is more, because maybe the performance was more of a 7 than a 7.5 anyway. So I will actually agree with you. Con, what do you think? Or would you push it up to our 8 now, or do you agree on the 7.5 overall?
I think I'm going to stick with the 8, to be fair. I think the context today of the game, I didn't expect that first half to be as good as it was. I know second half we looked kind of shocking, but we only conceded because of stupid decision by Chalobah, and we still scored in that half as well. So even though we weren't the greatest, I don't know, eye-pleasing to watch sort of performance, it was still a great performance in terms of the context of everything, If this was like just a performance with none of this going on, I'd be saying that's 7, 6. But because of everything going on, you have to knock it up a fair bit because it's mad. That very few players will ever experience what these players have experienced for the last few weeks. So,
okay, I hear that. Okay, so we have an 8, 2 7.5s and an 8. Clutch. What about you then?
Difficult. Especially today when, for the first time, I let the stuff that's not happening within games kind of affect me and kind of make me feel like, why bother watching the game? Because I just feel like the game is second right now, and like just kind of, I kind of had to talk myself into the game. I kind of talked myself into like watching the game and just having Norwich pull off a result. But then that first half happened and we played absolutely amazing, better than I could have expected considering everything. I think an 8 is fair for them. That second half really dragged them down, where we have to always make things hard on ourselves for whatever reason. But yeah, I'd probably go an 8.
Fair. Okay. That does mean, though, and we will get to Mendy, ladies and gentlemen. I do apologize. I did forget him. I did want to initially highlight the no respect for Mendy here. Then we had a super chat. But the problem is, ladies and gentlemen, we have 2 7.5s and 2 8s now. So we will actually get you involved, ladies and gentlemen, in the chat. So please do pick between 7.5 and 8 in terms of overall performance rating. If you pick lower than 7.5, it will count as 7.5. If you pick higher than 8, it will count as an 8. So please put your ratings of the overall performance in the chat, so we can finish off and actually get to Paul Mendy. And Dexter, give away fans 10. They were in fine form. They were lucky that there was no Ukraine minute of whatever, because otherwise they wouldn't be getting 10, probably. But yeah, let's not do away fans ratings. But they certainly were in good voice. That is definitely sure. So big up them, except when they sing things the wrong moment. 8, 10 Dexter. Cheers, mate. 8, 7.5, 8, 7.5, 8. Certainly seen more 8 so far, but I'll give you another couple of seconds, ladies and gentlemen, to put your thoughts in. Certainly more 8. So the boys do win this one. 8 for the performance, and then Edouard Mendy, even though he shouldn't be last, to finish it off, last but not least, the greatest goalkeeper in the world. Conceded a penalty, made 1, maybe 2 other saves. Like, I'm almost willing to say an 8. I'm not, but I'll give him a 6.5, but I could also say 6. I'm just going to say 6.5 because I was kind of a tad nice to everyone. That's why I'm going to say that. Con, do you agree, or what do you think?
No, I think 7, bro. Because that I just remember that header across goal, and when he caught that, like very few keepers do that, So most keepers leave that, and that was massive. And he made a few good saves today. Like Mendy, Mr. Reliable, at the back. The penalty isn't his fault.
Maybe
Is
I
what it
need to
is.
watch that back, because I saw someone tweet about it as well, like praising Mendy for when he ran out, jumped after that ball. And I when I watched it, I thought, you made that look a bit over dramatic here. So maybe I need to just watch it back, and maybe it was more dramatic than I realized.
I'm sorry, he did. Like, the guy was nowhere near him. He just grabbed onto the ball. It's funny.
All right, so maybe I was the only one at least. That's fair. Con goes for the 7. I said 7 at 6.5. Let's see what the other boys think. Pice.
Yeah, 6.5, I guess. I can't remember if he made. Actually, he made one good save, right? It was
From the Thiago deflection. That's the only one I can remember.
Must be the same one. I remember he made a save low down to his right, I think so. Right hand side,
No,
I
then
think.
it wasn't that one. They must have made another one then, because mine was the shot from distance that got deflected by Thiago and it bounced like up and was like kind of, I don't know, 5.5 yards in the air when he saved it. But maybe there was another one that I can't think of. So maybe a 7 would actually be appropriate now that I hear all of these things.
7.
But you know what? I'll go with that from Con as well. Clutch, would you think 7 for you as well, or would you take it back down to the 6.5?
It's Mendy, and I love Mendy. I think he had a couple mistakes, or had that one big mistake that almost cost Silva the ball, or did cost Silva the ball. Because he almost got caught out by whoever it was, I forget. But no, he's Mendy, and I back Mendy wholeheartedly. So 7.
Brilliant. Fair enough. I did just realize I was coughing like a crazy person. Usually I'm muted myself, but now because I had the camera off, I forgot to mute myself. But here we are. 7. That leaves us at that. We do get a lot of things. That's the only positive about only having 3 subs in the Prem, because if we had 5 subs every game, all of our player rate streams would be even longer. But yeah, we're going to basically leave it at that, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't already, like SA Big Up You in the chat says, smash the like button, because we need to get to at least 150 likes. We still have pretty much 200 people, 182 now, people watching. So smash the like button if you haven't already. That'd be brilliant. And subscribe if you haven't already. Every new subscriber counts, so big up yourself if you have recently or for a long time been subscribed. But if you haven't, make sure you change that. One click of a big red subscribe button down below, and it really does mean a lot. But yeah, let me close that. It's been a tough day. As much as, we kind of tried to make ourselves forget about it, and Chelsea did well to make us forget about it a little bit in terms of at least getting the dub and playing pretty well for the most part. But it's tough, man. Like, it's not easy because, like, we're as a Chelsea fans, we're being thrown in a big bucket of like, we're pro Putin, which we're clearly not. I'm not saying there's not a few stupid individuals in a fan base of millions. I'm sure there is, but like, that's not it. Like, stop putting people. I forgot the term, but like putting people all together as one when they're not. Like, people are individuals. Let them be individuals and stop cramming them into the same drawer, essentially, because it's not it. I don't want what's happening in Ukraine. I want that to stop. But I also don't want my football club to go down a fucking drain. And that's what's happening at the moment. So fuck you, Putin. Fuck you, Boris, a little bit as well. But you're also a clown, so at least you're amusing. But hey, I don't know. It's just sad. I don't want the bloody American consortium owner. I don't want.
Tell him.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it just pisses me off. Just leave me alone. Like, can we just have nice things? Like, just give me nice things. At least if one is back, that's great. Not that any of my 3 guests here right now care, but many other people do, and I do. So, it's fantastic. But yeah, just things trying to cheer me up at least. But yeah, there's nothing else really I can say. I mean, Con said tell him, which I get, but I don't really have the anger that quite you have, maybe because it's not my government that's doing it. Maybe that's why it feels in that sense a little bit different. I don't know. But I'm going to leave it at that, ladies and gentlemen. Big shout out to all my 3 wonderful guests. Of course, all their links are down in the description. CFC Pice says Twitter. Like I said, hit the notification bell button, but you are allowed to turn it back off if he tweets the same thing 3 times. Check out his website, Chelsea365. Of course, cut Pice. You unmuted yourself. What are you going to say?
I'm just laughing at you, like, yeah, this guy, man. Don't listen to him. Put notifications on.
No, I agree, Pice. Put them on. And then only if he does it again, then you're allowed to turn them off. But put them on in the first place.
It's like I type so quickly sometimes. It's not even like grammatical errors. I'll tell you what it is, yeah? So, like, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but I want...
words sometimes. It happens to me as well.
No, it's not even to do with words. Like, it's the structure of the tweet. So, like, like, if you put the source in brackets, sometimes it will go over like the line or something and go onto a new line, and that bracket will only be on one. It just looks ugly. So I always want it to be formatted so it looks like
you're a perfectionist, is what you are.
Yeah, I got like OCD. Like, I don't like just tweeting. Like, I can't just tweet. It has to look like proper. I don't know.
I am the same. Like, I will look at my tweet back, right, and if I read like a word or if I haven't put a punctuation mark somewhere, I'm like, yeah, delete, start again.
I'm going to send you an example of what I mean, and you're probably going to be like, are you joking? But yeah, it's true.
No, bro, I totally understand you. I also do it, but I don't do news, and I'm not as big as you, so no one cares if I tweet the same thing 3 times.
Bro, I have people getting genuinely triggered. They're like, stop fucking tweeting 3 times. I'm like, bro, like, it's not that deep. Like, stop fucking tweeting it.
But there you go. Yeah. Of course, follow Con. Always appreciate him giving me the retweets. So follow him. So when he retweets my things, gets more likes. So please do that. Follow Clutch, of course. I need to shout out Clutch more. Con gave him a big shout out the other week. I need to give Clutch a good shout out on Twitter. Everyone follow Clutch on Twitter. Link is in the description. Please do. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to round it out here. Thank you guys for watching. here's to better days. It's upwards and onwards. Let's hope things get sorted out in the best way possible. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Up Chelsea, upwards and onwards. And we'll see you next time.